G'day everyone, it's Bo from GrowthWise. Now, at the moment, there's a lot of talk of generative AI workflows as well as AI agents that are capable of completing a variety of different tasks that you've probably seen online. Now, we were paying attention to that, as I'm sure everyone in the industry has been paying close attention to it, and we decided that we would try and build out a tool just to sort of test what's actually capable at the moment with the things that we have at our hand. So we wanted to see, once we had actually built something, what's the capabilities of it, what can we extend from it, and then also what efficiency gains may be able to be achieved. So today we're going to demonstrate an IAS workflow just to give you an idea of what we've been able to build internally and kind of where we're at with capabilities right now as opposed to in the future. So to get started, I'm just going to kick off the tool that we've built now and explain what it's doing. All right, so shortly, now we're jumping into Xero, and as you can see, it's hands off. I'm going to move the mouse so you can get an idea. So I'm not actually controlling this, it's being controlled directly by the computer. We're switching into the organization that we've asked to be processed, and we're originally going to jump onto the organization settings to get the liability accounts for this particular organization and super expense accounts. We're now on the pay items page to get all of the expense accounts that can be used by the organization based on what the pay items are. Next up, we're on the payroll activity summary page, as you can see, and we're specifying a date, and then we're going to export it to a PDF. Now, we can specify whatever date range we want. We're just using February for the purpose of this example. Now we're on the profit and loss, and we're doing the same thing. So setting to February, we're going to update and then export to PDF. And then lastly, so once that goes through, we're going to jump into the balance sheet and do the same thing. So we're going to update it, and then we're going to export it out to PDF. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, that's quite simple. Once this closes, I can then go into a little bit more detail of what's going on. So as we were downloading all of that data, we're actually doing some cross-checking as well. So if you actually look in the background here, you can see all of what's happening inside the browser with the log that we've created. And if I jump into the actual folder, we can then go into what's been output by what we've actually been doing. So if we have a look in the output here, we can then see here's the 3 files that we've downloaded, and it's also got them named to say the organization name and whether it's the balance sheet, the profit and loss. And then on top of that, what we're also doing is we have this file called output, which is just, we can call it whatever we want, but we've called it output. And what it does is it shows you all of the different values, and it will also give us a column that says whether it's ready to be processed or not. So in this example, what we've actually done, I'm just going to expand the columns and talk about it, is we're doing some checks as the browser's running. So one of them is wages payable 0? So you can see that we've met that condition. And then we're also checking, does the balance sheet pay as you go value match the payroll activity summary value? And you can see with those two there, that matches as well. On top of that, we're also checking, does the profit and loss match with the payroll activity summary? So you can see with these two values as well, same thing, it's actually correct. And then same again for profit and loss for super and the payroll activity summary for super. So with this, we can actually specify and say, okay, well, we should be right to process an IAS because we've checked to make sure that everything's been run up to date. We've checked to see that all of the expenses match, and we check to see that all the liabilities match. So pretty cool little piece of information here, isn't it? So the reason why we wanted to show this is we know that there's a lot of talk at the moment about AI and about different tools and what may be capable. This is something that's not using ChatGPT. It's not using an online service to actually process it. We've built this from the ground up to effectively do this type of processing, along with a lot of other tools as well. But we just thought this would be a good one to show an example of for what we can actually, where we're at the moment with the tool. Now, I'm sure everyone's probably thinking, oh, it's pretty good, but it's still, it's not super quick or anything like that. We thought the same. So we actually rebuilt the tool to be able to do multiple organization processing. So what would happen in that scenario is you would just get multiple lines throughout here within the folder that we've actually got in here. You would have multiple different organizations, and in each organization folder, you would have the PDFs for that particular organization. And you would still have this ready column to say whether the conditions have or have not been met. So even if they haven't been met, you can actually do some interesting things because you've got all the data in a spreadsheet where you can actually just go, okay, well, what failed? So you can either add some columns to this and do your own calculations, or you can just quickly scroll through it as well. in the background here, I'll just show this as well. So if you think of the different reports that we've actually gone through and done in that workflow, so we've logged in, we've extracted all of the expense accounts, we've figured out the liability accounts that we're going to need to interact with as well, and we've ran through reports and exported them to PDF. So we've been able to do that in 1 minute and 8 seconds. So this is something that we really worked towards to go, how can we process data, but also how can we process it in a quick, reliable manner? And to give you an idea as well, like obviously 1 minute and 8 seconds is quite a good result, but if we run this in a parallel process mode, we're getting some interesting results as well, because on a computer that has the resources available, you're not looking at a minute per organization. You're actually looking at a lower overall time depending on how much resource you've got. So it's been quite a fun project, and we just thought that we would, yeah, just demonstrate where we're up to with it. And if there's any workflows that you think that you could do or like to do within Xero that could be done in this way, just let us know in the comments. And if this video has been helpful or interesting to you, just hit the like button and subscribe. Cheers.